So thank you everybody for this opportunity to tell something about the project or the company I'm in currently. This is an insurer called Zwitserleven. And today I'm going to talk about how we are workshopping our way through implementing a new law in the Netherlands on pensions. So it's quite a thing because the whole system changes. So let's meet the company first. Zwitserleven is a pension specialist. It is part of a bigger insurance under the umbrella. Excuse me. Under the umbrella of the Netherlands. So what we do, we manage the assets or the money that people give us to accrue pension so that they have some income later on when they stop working. So it's a very basic thing to do. So it's income for later, accruing your pension, do the life cycle management, make investments so that this money will grow. And then of course, enjoying and paying out this pension money at the time that our people are starting working. On top of that, or next to it, there's also some other insurances you can also take. For example, what happens if you're not able to work anymore because you're ill? So you can insure that a little bit so that your income stays stable, even if you're not able to work anymore. Or the unfortunate event that you might die. What would happen to your relatives, to your kids, to your partner? It would be better if you have still some money continue coming in, and that they are provided with some income. So those are the add-ons on the pension for later that we sell. So meet the company, because this is what we do, but what are we? Well, we're very, very proud that for Netherlands, so the umbrella company has been stated for the second time in a row to be the most sustainable insurer. But, well, it's a bit of a thing. What is that organization that does this? Well, it's all people that invest. So among investors, we're the greenest ones. I don't know. Tell me. But we try to do little things as well. So every week you can go out, grab a plastic bag and some stick, and you clean up your neighborhood. The boss will pay. It's not in your lunchtime, just take an hour, go and start to clean your neighborhood. So also the little things. And even today, in trying to be green, in fact, this specific moment, because I wanted to be here with the director of Zwitserleven. But yesterday, they had the Agora Next event for the whole company. 4 directors need to be there. And he said, well, I'm not going to fly again for just 1 day. It will be too long for a train for just an hour. I won't come because it's not sustainable. Yeah. I'll stick with my company, do the things with my people. They launched the new marketing strategy yesterday. I was there. But that's what they did. Had a lot of fun, and they had workshops about storytelling and everything. So I think they had a fun time as well when people were here. So this is a bit of the atmosphere that the company has. So who am I? I'm just a consultant going on that ride as well. I work for Strong Consecutive Salaries. And here in this company, I do they call it business development engineer, could be business analyst, could be information analyst, well, more or less that kind of stuff. But for me personally, what I bring to the team that I'm working with is that I embrace things as a fact of life. So I'm always happy about change. And don't feel that much threatened by it. So hopefully that will be a little bit inspiring for the people that I work around with. Collaborate with all people in it. Happy to step out with my little team that I work in and have a conversation with others. even if it's at a water cooler or whatever, just talk and find connections. Use any tool you need to get people to talk to each other. And that's through Edgy. And learn from mistakes. I made a lot of mistakes because now I'm in the pension business, but before I was in aviation. And before that, I was in municipalities sharing software, or sharing software platform. I don't know, I do a lot of different things. So when I stepped into a new domain, I made a huge number of mistakes. I stumbled, I fall, and well, people laugh at me, but that makes the environment a little bit better for them to make mistakes as well. I will not put the crown on that they had yesterday, but I try to be as low level as possible, but think about big things. So make this, and it also make decisions along the way. Small things, small steps. You don't know where the future is completely, but just take a decision, any decision, and see how it works. So that's my philosophy. So pensions, anybody? Please stand on your chair if you're a pension specialist.
As an insurance specialist, I advise against that.
You might
You thought about your pension the past month. Anyway. Wow, this is where's my phone? You should take it. So, the other ones, when did you think about your pension?
Half a year.
Half a year? Anyone else is on top of mind?
Last year.
Last year?
Yep. 2 months.
3 months?
Every time Canada say, oh, the rates are going higher.
The rates are going higher. Okay. So what are the moments in life that you think of your pension? You mentioned one, like, okay, I'm gonna pay more for it. So that's what I'm thinking.
When you have children.
I hear children, exactly.
When my wife thinks about how little she gets because of the children and the time that she was not able to work.
So she has a pension, yeah.
Yes, I'm sure.
Okay.
Also working not working full time.
Yeah, exactly. So working conditions is.
I think there's 2 moments like that. The first one is the first time you think that you're going to retire, and then when you realize that you're never gonna retire. Yeah.
Too late.
So these are the things that you need to consider when you're in the pension business. When does it really matter? Yes, please.
So when you have birthday and you get a letter from your pension.
Is that a special birthday? Or do you get that every?
I only have once a year, so it's quite special.
So it's every birthday you get a letter from your pension.
I do.
You're coming closer.
Thank you.
So basically, also what I hear in the public is that, well, I get this pension because I work hard and or I have children and I have a pension gap. So what Zwitserleven is about is to make you feel comfortable about the living that you have after you start working. So the main question is, okay, but what would you like to achieve when you start working? What do you actually need in your way of living? Do you have any vision? Do you have any, things that you would like to do now, but you were never able to do? And then, of course, you want to have money to do that once you retire. So keep this in mind, because this is the mindset that we need, even if we go into the very dusty details of what a pension is about, which is money. So, of course, I do a little bit of an intro of the Dutch pension system, because we're very international. And probably there are a bunch of pension systems around in the country, because it's highly legislated. So in the Netherlands, we have 3 pillars. The first one is the state pension. It's the basic step. Everybody gets a pension by the state. It's a bare minimum. On top of that, there's a pension scheme usually done by your employer. That's on top of that. And your employer can say, well, okay, I will pay for your pension. That's a good idea. So we put in some money into the pot and we save that for you and you'll get out of the pot later. Well, maybe you have to pay for it a little bit yourself as well, or maybe you have to pay all. But if you have to pay all of it, taxes are not included. So they will put it off your gross salary. You don't pay any income tax of that, and you pay taxes once you've retired. And on top of that, that's the third pillar. You can arrange something for yourself. See that your housing is in order, your extra savings, investments that you do on your own. The tax advantage will disappear on this part. Only when you have a tax gap, sometimes you can arrange some, or a pension gap, you can arrange something that, okay, I have this gap to fill myself. Please, tax administration, be kind. Good thing. So this is what I said already. 3 simple things we do, and you see already the actual things coming in a bit. And basically we have outside we play with 3 customers. We play with the employees, where we have the contracts with. We have the employees that are the participants in these pension schemes. But because the material is so complex, we have a lot of advisors helping employers and employees to make decisions. And we need to be on top of mind at these advisors because they will give you advice on other rates, whatever. And we want to explain that we are the best, or the best fit. So why this pension system exists? But also it's not because we're great at it. It's because legislation and how the Netherlands work. That's the basic thing why this exists, because there's this tax advantage. People are willing to put money into their future. Even more so than actually thinking about their future themselves. So the main drive behind this is that putting things in the pension for later will save the money now. It's still the short-term goal that runs a lot of interest. So it is a contract between the employer and the pension fund or pension insurer. And the powerful thing about being green is that we have over 45 billion in assets that we need to invest. So you better invest it in sustainable things, sustainable companies. So that's what we're trying to do. And we have initiatives that even monitor deforestation or reforestation to see if the companies that we invest in or that are in our investment mix are actually living up to what they're saying. So to try to do our best, it's still with this 45 billion in assets. You cannot say it's all green because it's a huge lot of money. And how would you distribute these assets in a way that no matter you get older, it gets less risky. And the more sure you're getting that actually the money that's in the pot is actually going to be there when you are going to buy your pension. So Zwitserleven has already thought about what their identity is pretty strong. They know that they want to give everybody in the Netherlands the opportunity, maybe Europe, especially in the Netherlands, to shape their own financial future. For now, think of all the incidents that can happen to you, and for later, in a world worth living. So that's where the sustainable part comes in. So the sustainable investments I already talked about. But it's also about freedom. to make your own choices. To do that, as a company, you need to be reliable. People need to rely on what you say is true, and what you present in the numbers is true. So that they actually trust you to give you their money. And you need to give insight, help people to understand the complex system, help people to understand what the choices are about, and give realistic data on what to expect. So these are quite high standards to do if you think that solely numbers and investments in trade markets with a lot of uncertainty. So this is what we talked about already. I heard some of them. Okay, when we're approaching retirement date, this is when we're going to talk about pensions. But also when you get your first job, or when you're negotiating about a new job, it's good to think about it. Maybe your employer pays a lot of your pension. Well, that's a good deal. Or maybe you have to arrange everything by yourself. Think of the third pillar. It's also good to think about it when you're on a divorce, separate partners, because your partner will get out of your pension or not. Well, that depends on what you agreed upon when you were getting a partner, or when you're getting a child. You'll get this extra insurance for if I'm dying, so that they'll get some money. And then, of course, for the right. So, what is now this big change that we're thinking through? Because this is the system that was already existing. The big change is that we have a system where you have a pension that you're actually quite sure of what you will get. So, well, maybe you get 70% of the last earned income. So that's called the benefits. And this is what the pension system was all about. We just know this is what I earned during my career, and I got 70% of it, or maybe a part of half of what I earned. I mean, there's some changes in the percentage, but at least you knew what you were having in your hands. Retire. The new rule that dictates that every pension scheme now is turned around. The only thing you know for sure is what you will be contributing to your pension. So what you put in. And then, are you going to retire? Well, probably that pot has grown a bit. It's your own. You need to manage it yourself. It's not going to be a company anymore that ensures that you have the amount of money that you want to have. No, you have to think of that yourself. And then after you've had this pot of money that probably has grown a bit, but you're not sure, you have to think, okay, now I'm going to buy my pension so that somebody can pay it out. So you reinvest that money to get the money out of the pot. And that's all your own responsibility. So this carefree feeling that I was talking about, how much is left of that when you think you have all this responsibility? Anyone? Zero. I see zero. Anyone else?
-0.
You have to pay.
There are some Dutch people here.
Yeah, it's really surprising that we're not all on strike. I agree, yeah.
You can give them tips.
The mindset that you happen in the company. And we're in the numbers. We're in the numbers.
Or talk to some Greek friends.
So for now, this situation already exists, but it exists only for 10% of the people in the Netherlands. And the other one, 90%.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's a huge change for a lot of people in the Netherlands. So the carefree feeling.
That's good.
So this is what we are going to do at Zwitserleven. How are we going to continue to know that your pension is in good hands? Well, you see the palm trees. This is what we like.
Yes.
It's highly overrated.
So you already probably know this brand. Everybody in the Netherlands knows the Zwitserleven. So What would you do? What would you do? Read all of these ones, like, okay, once you're in this pension scheme, at least you want to know what options you have. You want to have insight in your personal situation. Maybe you want to have insight in the best fit of the configuration of this configuration to your own needs. So, or was there anything else that came to mind which you would like to know?
Yeah, what can I afford?
What can I afford? That's a good one. Yeah, exactly. Anyone else?
Will I be able to afford it
Will I be able to? Oh, at all?
at all?
At all, yeah.
Yeah. Well, the good thing is part of your, when you're in
You're forced to.
yeah, it's some of your wages, and when you're at an employer, some of it is taken care of. You're just in the scheme, and you can
Oh,
put
sorry,
in
I was
some
thi- I
more,
was thinking,
less.
I was thinking about like the future, the pension point.
Yeah.
Sorry, not the.
Okay, yeah. So when so that also depends on what can I afford when I actually have the money. So you would like to have some insight or a prognosis of what and part would be, so that you know what you could afford.
I think that we're investing in pensions, thinking that the economy is somewhat stable. And if the economy is collapsing every Monday and Friday, then yeah, you know, it's not even the pension. It's like what we'll be able to do with the money we save.
It's the fine print. It says no results guaranteed.
Yeah,
Yeah. So, yeah. Which almost means guaranteed no results.
I think this is guaranteed no results.
That's actually, you want to have a bit of that security that was in this 90% part, and still you would like to have a bit of a crystal ball to look into the future, what the future would be like. So these are the big changes. I won't go through it all. But for us, we identified, okay, we have some big changes in the very basics of our product. We also have some big changes in this extra security for your relatives if something happens to you. And this is what I already said. It depends on how all these facets that we have in Edgy are combined. If we can still give you some of that good feeling that you were having when you knew that you were in. So the challenge is to balance all this out. But we have two big questions here on how will the product that will be, well, now only at 10% people, when you roll it out to 100%, how will it be experienced? And will it still be the fit? And also, how will it affect our brands? You're selling a good feeling. Well, what would your approach be? I think we had some beautiful examples this morning. For us, I thought we should have started with the organization to make the organization aware of what this big change would be. Get everybody in line, get everybody working on the same pace. See what departments are involved, so that everybody gets the same knowledge about the big change going on, because it's also affecting the people that are working in this company as well. So you can relate. And how all these other frameworks that we're having, we have to do safe with increments and sprint plannings and PI plannings and the whole, rituals around that. And how would it end up on our Azure boards with epics, and features, and stories, and tasks? And how would that be? Is there any kind of agreement on how we will organize this big step? We're not doing projects anymore, by the way. We're not doing any programs, by the way. So it has to be done just in a normal running organization. Who's ownership? Who's the owner? Who's going to do this? And what ways of collaboration do we have? That were the questions that I was thinking about when I heard of this. We're going to implement a new law. But instead, and And of course, what is my influence? Instead, the company is like this. We have a huge emphasis on products. We sell things, products. And of course, this law affects the product, so we think about products. Define the new product. That's what we're going to do. The brand. Is there anything affecting the brand? That's what we think about. But the organization, well, we already have an organization, so we'll just go with that. Okay. So we started working and working and working. I thought, well, if this is what it is, just go with the flow, because I'm in one little column and see what we can do. So changed my way of thinking. For okay, I'll talk to the product guys and think what the strong elements are in the company and work with that. And there are two strong elements: the product, because everybody's thinking in product terms, and the other one is the stable structures that we have. And one of the stable structures, all for everybody that wants change always knows about, is the administration system. Because it never changes and it needs to change, and you know it. But still, it can be a good thing as well, because stability in big things is good. So if you first try to figure out what changes are actually needed in the fundamentals of your company, maybe that's a good start, because you have something to rely on. And because, why is this administration so stable? This is the pension book of my father, who passed away a couple of years ago, but he started accruing a pension, well, for this shipbuilding company, I think in 1950 something. So the little numbers that were written by hand in this book still had to continue in all this pension systems until 5 years ago, because then he was still paying out for this, what was agreed upon for this product. This was the product, and this was his contribution. So it still needs to be there, so it better be stable. Keep it stable. We used, well, the proposed legislation, because the legislation wasn't agreed upon yet, but now it is. But then when we started out, we had the specification templates in Word. That was ordered to write functional designs. We had Excel to create examples. And we used this designer for the process modeling and the IT architecture check. There's a huge model base in Zwitserleven that is not completely up to date, but to pinpoint the areas where impact will be, it's good enough. So we made 10 new product features, put them on the boards, and we stopped working. And actually, we had a product working in the administration in about a year. But I wasn't that happy, because it's the blue part. Bit of the purple part, product. But we didn't know how it would fit to our people. And because we didn't think of the organization, we didn't know where the dependencies were at the time. And we were distributed over a lot of teams. So we have to make offers to our clients. We have to register the new contracts. Actually, we have to think of the transformation from an old contract to a new contract as well. So think of that as a new offer as well. And then we have to show insights to our clients, and we have to manage the changes that happen. And it was all distributed in about 16, more or less. And it's for the operational part. So this down. This is the people that actually have to make the change. But we didn't have to switch it here until I think half a year ago. And this is me. I'm here. Just didn't want to but in my head, it was a big thing. So I was at this point, I was really quite unhappy, actually. And I was using, well, not Edgy at the time, but the book of Milan to make some sense out of this word, where I was constantly feeling a bit of awkwardness of how things were going. So, what I said, we had the organization, we had the architecture, and we had the product a little bit in place. The big questions were about how we were going to the brands and the experience. And then there was the intersection last year. And while I was there was a big intervention in the company. Because we have this strong brand, we have quite good identity. So, well, we've seen all these things on the board about products and about the administration, about the architecture, but we can't see how it affects and how we are going to communicate with the people. Okay. And what helped us, even you have to inform your participants about the choices. Oh, maybe there's some risk in this involved as well. Maybe you can get a lawsuit. Maybe you can get a fine over the institutions that are monitoring it. So then they said, well, okay, we're going to do a workshop. We're going to do a workshop on choice guidance. How are we going to help our people that are in our pension schemes to make the right choices about their pension? And well, I didn't know that. So after I returned last year from the conference, the day after, I was in a workshop. And I wasn't prepared. Sorry, I didn't know this intervention was when I was in this 2-day conference and feeling happy in Stockholm. And then we were sitting there. I said, well, actually, you're from the administration. That is in order. You know, you've got your things figured out. Draw it on the board so that we can hook up. I don't know. I haven't prepared anything. So I just was like, no, you know, I'll just start with the facets. So I started drawing the identity facets and the architecture facet and the experience facet. Well, you know, I'm from this land. I live here because I thought everybody was there. You did a good job in inviting all kinds of people, but I could only tell the story from the blue line. And well, so I introduced Edgy by chance in a stealth way. And luckily, the other people came prepared. So all roles that were needed were there. Higher management is the director that was there. If it was needed, could take bold decisions at the spot, no problem. The people department was there with a list or boundaries between cross and even some ideas of how to interpret the law so that we have some freedom. Communication was there, UX designers were there, and account management were there that were dealing with the customers. And we all brought our wisdom and we all brought their examples of how they do the work or what they already thought of this month. And we started using the blackboard. And the first thing that happened actually is when I was starting using these facets and drawing the other screen as well. And there could some relaxation in the room. It's not this administration product person telling me what to do. There's a space for everybody here. So it's not that one is dictating the other, it's actually matching them. So they know there was a place and that they could drop their ideas and that we would be able to read them. And we tried, even as his first workshop, shift lenses and try to think about what does it mean for the other profession that's in this group, what kind of work would it deliver, and what would the impact be? So, think back of my introduction to the Zwitserleven enterprise. What would you think? Where's all the wrong way? I don't know. So let's skip that. We just made a lot of connections. So this is actually, it's not readable, and that's obvious reasons that there's company information in this. And I'm not, I didn't have all this stuff. This is the real thing. I draw the blue line. Some others draw the experience. If we say, okay, somebody is going into our pension scheme, the experienced one says, okay, I'm getting a new job. So there's something else involved. And on the top line, it was not, the vision was clear, what we are about is clear. It's mainly communication now. What do we have and what needs to change? So all the great things are examples of the actual communication that we have. So the official first letter that you get with the contract and the sticky notes are okay. If you still want to be a friendly company with, you know, the green values and the meaning on top, we have this constantly as an umbrella reminding us that everything that we do in this lace has to relate to that. What do we need to change? So the blue stickies are actually the work that was identified, filling the gaps. And we at the high abstract level, but immediately dive into the tangible example. So it needs to be done very quickly. This is another one. They go, whoa, this is what's another approach. Part of the law is that what the definition of someone's partner is changing. So, for example, especially when you're not married or have a registered partner, but when you're just living on the same address, you could be living on the same address with a number of people. Which one of those is your partner? So, and there actually have been some cases that, you know, there was somebody else saying, okay, I'm the partner because I live in the same address. It wasn't a partner at all. And so now they have the law said, okay, you have to sign an agreement together that actually you state that you're a partner, that you have a combined household. This is basically what it's all about. And actually, not just saying, okay, somebody has a partner and it's okay. Like, actually, you need this form to fill in and you need to prove, and that makes a lot of impact. So we said, like, okay, we need to change the definition of partner in our contracts as well. So here we have, okay, how in fact the product or the sub-parts of the products that you can buy. What will your experience be? And again, what will be the communication? And every green spot is another channel. So it was the actual content on the channel. So here also a lot of freedom going on. Yes, please.
Are the colors the edgy colors? Or
Yeah, more or less, yes.
it seems that the salmon one or the orange one, is that the brand?
No,
Oh, okay.
it was more a lower level of the red.
That's a good experience.
I was just wondering why there were all kinds of brand dots.
And it's also, this is not, these are the things that are not well maintained because they were there in the workshop, and everything that comes out is always sticky that end up in work to be done in the next increment. So this is always part of the preparation of the increment planning.
Do you go back to these documents?
Yes,
Yeah?
yes.
Okay.
Every time we have the discussion, you go back and use this as a tablecloth to sit by.
Good.
If we were in an actual room, this could be on the table and we just feel comfortable and having tea on it. And say, oh, we're here now, we're discussing this bit. It's more a navigation structure and on the same spot again. This is another one, and this is a less complicated one. It is a very complicated subject, but not in the Edgy part, because when you become disabled, there's a lot already working perfectly fine. Only some little things change in the experience and in the administration, but all the communication, more or less the communication, are all good. And it wasn't affecting the rent or anything. It's just that we need to align the experience and some moments of, okay, now you get this sort of money or that sort of thing. That needs to be communicated. And still 5 actions to go. Okay. And so this is how we use it. Some even simpler than that. And this one is building up. Maybe there's going to be more, I'm not sure. Because now I start doing these things, but everybody is invited to do this. It's not a Miro, it's whiteboard by Microsoft, can't help it. But you know, invite people, put on their examples, put on their thoughts. And maybe if somebody of marketing thinks, this is really good, they will add some in the marketing boards, the yellow ones, and we'll see it appear. And the next time that we come together, so on a weekly basis or 2 weekly basis, we can discuss and see what happens. So we're workshopping our way through. That's basically what it is. Providing challenges that come and improvements and put them on the boards, and they will be picked up in the usual, well, line of work. And of course, maybe it's a bit easy to say that because implementing a law, you don't have to discuss budget. It just needs to be done. It is the highest priority. No discussion about that. So that's it. I think in some other parts, the discussions will be much more difficult. And we use first time to keep an overview, basically. And now, I already said it before, we now pretty much figured out how the experience and the product should work together. And we're building that. We also have the main domains under construction already to freshen up. But now this will impact that hugely. And they said, well, we have this brand that was actually perceived as pretty luxurious. But we have in our statement that we want to be the bench provider for everybody. So this white palm beaches that we present all the time, maybe it's too posh. So yesterday they launched a new marketing strategy, and it will be more about the little enjoyments in life.
Littles.
Being young to her.
They're cheaper.
Enjoy. Keep them. I'm not sure exactly how it will. So this is what I would like to end. This is actually how the organization is sick. It's a capable teams that we're having. They're all building part of the ship. We're trying to be part of it from top to bottom. This is how we try to put this stuff together. Actually, this piece of art that is standing in Amsterdam is called intersection. Way through with all the elements and the facets and trying to understand each other. We get the experience that it is a full ship that we're on and embark on the journey of life and to happen ever after. So please, thank you. But
What would you say was the biggest value you got out of sneakily introducing Edgy?
Getting in the same vocabulary. You know what your place is and know that you're connected all together, even if you're in different disciplines.
And did they resist at all? Did you?
No. They instantly they're like, we don't need to fight our way through. We're just in this together, like the roads. And of course, sometimes there's it's great. They say they all the time that this marketing stuff say it's opting out, you can opt out of I think for us it's that things are standard on. And so you will still have these little things going with it. I know because the experience of the clients is that they have to switch something off. So opting out is a logical thing. So even you're trying to get a better understanding, I think, of the different disciplines.
Good. Thank you.
Do you think that the liberty from like the tensions of, strategic planning and implementations gave people more room to actually improve and re-improve products, processes? Did you see that? Can you now talk about it in the organization? That
Yeah, we can talk about it, but there's no room in the planning. Because this is, the time scale is so short that we didn't think, we could have done this better. And it's on the list. And the list is pretty long. And it will be going on the budget year for next year and a few years to come. And they will adapt the architectural runway a bit because of this. For example, especially the digital communications, the employers will need to improve a lot. So there wasn't more talk, it was more on the surface. We were not able to activate on it because the timelines are so strict on this, being even compliant to this law.
that's a challenge for Edgy also.
First, thank you very much. Super inspiring talk and beautiful presentation. I was wondering, is this kind of a strategic initiative and all stakeholders are on the same pace? Or do you have different paces in your organization? Because you seem to have really fast increments.
We are on the same heartbeat, but that doesn't mean that we have equal amount of work going through the pace.
Okay.
So some are a bit behind and slow, and others are pretty fast, are more easily adjustable. So it's a bit of a mayhem actually, but we're getting there because we're talking to each other.
So to follow up and clarify, if you have this continuous workshop, you pull some resources that are on some little slower pace maybe for some certain workshop, and there's a core team moving on a fast pace.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. And also to know that it's also good to recognize that, okay, we're not there yet. Maybe you have this in place already this quarter, and you'll be only getting there in half a year. And then you can draw a plan what to do in between. It still has to go into production, or you can say, okay, we can wait, and you can build up all the knowledge upon all the knowledge we have already, so it takes you long, so you don't have to invent the wheel again. It's okay, take your time. Those are okay, you need to do another intervention, you need to get the pace up.
Does the Edgy help to figure out when you can go slow and when you can go faster due to the intersections?
Not yet.
Not yet.
It could be a great expansion, but it's not. This is driven by gut feeling.
I want to add only one sentence to the Edgy by steps and what I like this version, because I think that most of us will only do stealth mode for the next 10 years. So this pitch we want to make intersectional circular, and top management gives you the mandate to do the highest level enterprise design and police. I don't see this will happen. So usually this, and it's the same what I'm doing in this company. Yeah? So that's the normal. It's the normal mode. We are not strategic consultants yet, but we want to get there. We want to get to the management, and we hope that executive management consultants get the mandate and interested. But this group of people, I think you will work yourself doing exactly the same thing. Yeah? You start from one element, that's where you are, and then you take your finger to the basic relationships, and then you extend your impact. I think that's what we're going to do for the next 5 years.
I think it's like a pen. Eh? Nobody discusses if we're going to use a pen throughout the company. So if it will work, if it fits purpose, if it's a tool that's powerful, it will work. If it's not, probably we didn't do the right thing, or we overhyped it, or we did. I mean, and all the elements were already there 10 years ago in a different shape and form and with other connections.
Yeah, I mean, Zwitserleven, they didn't ask you to redesign the entire company, right?
No, they asked me.
Was that a problem?
That they didn't ask me.
Yeah.
Did I stay awake at night that they didn't ask me?
Yeah.
No.
No, because that's what Wolfgang is saying. No one gets this brief.
It's not just do it, just do
For
it.
me, it's not a problem.
Yeah.
As long as I get the freedom to talk to everybody. If they say, oh no, you're in this administration part.
Yeah.
And you stay there with these other 6 lovely colleagues, that I only can talk to them, then I will get, well, a bit sad. And probably, as one of the powerful things in enterprise design patterns, it will be time to. But that is not the case, although a year ago, before this intervention, I was thinking about that. Because I was too much into the text form.
There's a great liberation.
That's an interesting question
arises from what Wolfgang said. Do you see what you've done as being to a certain extent transient, that you created some maps and some pictures of a small portion, if you like, of the organization? It served its purpose. It kind of goes in the bin because it becomes history. Or if you do this edgy by stealth, are you actually inking in a little bit of the picture? Someone else over there is inking in another little bit of the picture. And if these bits of pictures are preserved and ultimately join up by stealth, you may eventually end up with having crowdsourced, if you like, a map of the
So we
organization.
start on a napkin and we'll go into a tablecloth.
Yeah, but if you throw the napkin away,
The tapestry.
you waste.
Yes, yeah, could be.
There's also an aspect of championship, because now you've become a champion of Edgy, and probably, you know, the clarity of thinking and collaboration would, I assume, or I hope, would lead to people coming to you with their own challenges, saying, how can we just describe it or translate it into a more communicative form of.
Fortunately, they don't come to me as a person. But they say, oh, you have this diagram, can I use it as well? So I said, yeah, okay, and then I ordered some books. And I gave them to the people that asked, I would like to have some diagram like that. I said, okay, you can do that, here's the book.
That qualified as a champion.
So I don't want to make all the drawings all the time. So let people draw their own.
I'm today the element guy, so I'm doubling down on elements that have been used. So I saw that you had in one of the pictures, you had the identity line really, really big, and then the experience a little bit smaller, and the architecture a little bit smaller, and you had the, basically, you call it the communications, right? So I say the content that is communicated in the green as a kind of a manifestation of the identity, right? Is that how you use it? Just as a clarification question. And did that work well?
If I had any thought about it before I drew it. It was just that there was so much going on in communication that needs to be changed, that the line was automatically getting bigger.
Yeah.
And so it's that's how it gained weight.
Yeah.
But
No.
there was no, I didn't think of that. It was go like that.
Is content an asset or is
Oh no, so we have an element called content in the identity. And it's a bit of a
contentious,
but
Sometimes it needs, yeah.
so yes,
Three
this
factors
context
sometimes.
like it's expertise. This is knowledge about like what we talked about
Yeah.
yesterday. So hence it's in that sense also an asset.
It is, and it represents the brand, and it is experienced when people read it, and it's knowledge, and it's information, and it's data in some system, and so on and so on.
It needs to be in green, because as I started, we all do this to keep this comfortable feeling alive with our customers. So we need to have this in the green part, because we want to keep a good feeling alive. So we need to relate to the brand. So that's why it's in there. It's not in the data or in the part or in